You were talking about becoming a global citizen. What does that mean? Like, just
I'm,
being like more.
I'm going to touch on the car thing too. I've never
Okay.
been a car guy,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
I remember driving with you in your car. I think it was a BMW, a pretty fast one years ago, and I loved the feeling and the power. And I remember looking at you going, "I just looked successful. Like you just looked and felt successful in this car." Was it like a 6 Series or something? Do you remember what you had?
I think that's when I picked you up from the airport in my
Yeah,
M3 convertible. So that was like a 414 horsepower V8, but it sounded really nice. Like it
it was
sounded
fun.
powerful. Yeah.
So years ago, I went out and bought I was driving a Saab, and then I drove another Saab, and then I went out and bought a fully loaded P90D Tesla. Fucking loaded it with everything, 130,000 US. Bought and never even test drove it. I just like went and picked it up.
Ordered it.
It
Yeah.
was like, holy shit, man! I don't know what we've been driving, but they're not cars. Like
Yeah.
that is just ridiculous. So I get it now. And every single day I sat down in it, I loved it and felt successful. And I would tell any single guy out there, buy yourself the car that you want to be driving before you buy anybody else anything. Before you buy anything else for your kids, before you buy anything else for your spouse, before you pay anything for your parents, buy yourself the car or lease the car. For the next 3 years, you are going to feel good. Like every time I sit in my cars now, I feel good.
Hmm.
I've got right now in Vancouver, I've got an Audi Q8, like fully decked out SUV because I'm in the mountains. But every time I sit in it, I'm like, I feel good. Like there's
Hmm.
something that transfers into the way I walk into the coffee shop or the way I show up on my calls. And it's a really weird segue moment, but I get it.
No,
Wow.
it's interesting that you say that because there's a lot of guys I know that's like you wouldn't even know that they're loaded. I think there was one interview that Jeff Bezos did where he was driving this shitty
Yeah.
old Honda
The board.
minivan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the reporter's like, "Okay, you're the richest guy in the world. Why are you driving this car?" Sort of thing. Why aren't you in the back of a Rolls Royce with a, with somebody driving? But there's a lot of guys out there that are super successful, but they're not car guys. I was actually surprised because when I was a kid, I thought everybody was a car guy because all my friends were car guys. We liked cars a lot. We always did like these big burnouts, and we were doing donuts in the wintertime in the parking lots and all that kind of stuff. And then as I got older and I started to, start reading books like, Richard Branson's biography, he never talked about cars once. He talked about doing balloons and racing across the ocean in a powerboat. You read up on Steve Jobs and he, like the nicest car he had was an older Mercedes that he never even plated. Like he basically used this technique to never plate the car.
Yeah. Mine is a treating myself with something that is going to pay off time and time again. So you mentioned the Herman Miller chair. I've got a Herman Miller Aeron chair at my office desk, 50, 60 feet from me. I only fly first class now. But people are like, oh, is that an ego thing? No, I actually have met more business deals sitting in first class than I've ever met sitting in economy. I landed the country of Qatar because I sat beside the second in command for the country on a flight from Vancouver to Phoenix. I landed the CEO of Sprint. I've landed speaking events. So now I'm like, wait a second, I'm going to pay to put myself in that spot because I'm around successful people. I'm going to pay to put myself in a nice car because it makes me feel good every single day. I'm going to pay to sit in the best chair out there because I feel good 8 hours a day when I'm sitting in it. Right now, I'm sitting in a $3,000 leather chaise that I do work from.
I don't know if you can see.
Are you in the same one, the
Yeah.
restoration hardware? Yeah, it's fucking amazing. I love this thing.
Yeah.
And then I travel when I travel. I stay in nice hotels or I stay in really baller Airbnbs because it feels good. Now and then I might cut back a little bit on the fact that yeah I wear a Lululemon sweatshirt because it doesn't I don't really give a shit.
Well, they're actually pretty comfortable. I got some
Yeah,
of your
it's
stuff.
comfortable.